How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We are doing one of my favorite videos today, which is looking at financial education and how he talked about a stock and how it went up pretty big in the pre-market today. So I have a lot to say on this, but in the last couple of videos, I've done a couple of these before and I'll talk about them later. I haven't really talked about how to take advantage of this phenomenon that goes on when financial education goes over a stock, and talk about really there are two different options on how you can cash in on this. So I'm going to go over that, but before that even, I'm going to go over what happened today. So stay through to the end so you can kind of formulate a good decision or a good opinion on, first of all, my video before you go in the comments, and then also just on how you can take advantage of this, because I think it is pretty good information for you to know going forward. So if you don't know who Financial Education is, his name is Jeremy. He has two YouTube channels, one with over 500,000 subscribers and then one with over 100,000 subscribers. He does stock market investing videos, and he talks about stocks, let's say like this one, a $12 stock, and how he thinks it's going to 3x. And he talks about whether he's buying it or looking to buy it or what he's looking for. And there's been a phenomenon that I've pointed out in some of my past videos where after he talks about it, the stock shoots up in value. So today you might not even notice that this happened, but in the pre-market, the stock was up several percent when all the other stocks and its competitors were down. So this stock that he was talking about was TPR, or Tapestry. And before I even talk about the stock, I do want to say I really like Jeremy. Jeremy's a really nice guy. He actually has written me a message before and talked to me a little bit back and forth. He doesn't have any problem with these videos. Like, I brought it up to him that I had done one of these and he just laughed it off. So he's well aware that when he talks about these stocks, that the price goes up in value. He talks about the Jeremy effect in some of his videos, about how you need to do your own research because you can't just listen to him. And it's not like this is different than anything else. I mean, Jim Cramer talks about a stock and it goes up. Other big personalities tweet about a stock and it goes up. So there isn't really much of an issue there. He's not really worried about it at this point. But this stock, Tapestry, is the stock they talked about. And yesterday, at the end of the market, it was $12.65. This morning, when the market opened, it was up 3%. So that's a pretty big move there, and I believe it was even up higher in the pre-market. So before the market officially opened for the day, some people have access to trading, and I believe it was up even higher before that. And you might not think anything of that. Like, I mean, stocks go up and down all the time. But if we look at some of their competitors, Vera Bradley, let's say, or Beer Bradley, or however you say it, they were just up 0.25% today when the market opened. And Estee Lauder at 3.45 yesterday till today at 9.30, they went down 0.33%. So really, TPR was the only company that went up in value, and there hasn't really been much news on them. It's not like they had really great earnings or anything like that yesterday. There's really no news on the stock in general. So I was watching it this morning because I saw this coming. In one of my past videos, I talked about him doing this with the Cheesecake Factory and how his 600,000 subscribers boost his stock picks. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll link it here. But as you can see, it went up 14% that day. And you might be saying, well, 3% yesterday is not really that significant compared to 14% with the Cheesecake Factory, which definitely that's a smaller percentage, but the magnitude of how much money went into the stock is very similar, and I'll show that here in a second, that it's pretty similar, and it might be even something that you can kind of try to plot out and determine how much a stock might go up. Now, if we look here, I did another video on Planet 13. You can check this one out too. It's the same type of thing that happened. He talked about Planet 13 stock, which is even smaller. They're just like $250 million stock, and it went up 25% the next day. So I think that this is continuing to happen, and I want to address some of the comments before anyone writes them in the description below. Basically, this guy said, no ill will towards him, you need to remove this video because it could really affect you as well as him. I'm not going to lie, I thought about this on the stocks that he spoke on, but if you want to do yourself and Jeremy a favor, please take the video down. First of all, like I said, I've already talked to Jeremy about this. he's not worried that the SEC is gonna come after him. Another comment that I kept on getting was basically, don't talk about other YouTubers. I hate watching videos of YouTubers talk about YouTubers, but people make videos on other people in media all the time. Like if Jeremy does a video and talks about how NAT stock went up drastically because the CEO went on Jim Cramer, it's essentially the same thing. We're just looking at media and how it affects stocks. So if it is relevant to the stock market, I'm going to cover it, even if it is about another YouTuber. And a lot of people were really nice about it. They appreciated it. They thought about it. So I was happy that a lot of people got a lot out of it. But there were a couple different things that continued to come up over time. And I just wanted to point those out ahead of time. So I appreciate you guys not writing that kind of stuff in the comments. But if you do have some constructive criticism, feel free to leave it. So like I said, the previous stock that he had talked about was Cake Stock, and that's a market cap of about $950 million, and that moved up 14%. So that is a significant movement. Now TPR is about a $3.5 billion stock or so, and that price movement was only about 3%. However, the total market cap move is pretty similar between the two. So if we look, 3% of 3.5 billion is about 105 million. 14% of 950 million is 133 million. So these are pretty close to each other. And I think you can kind of use that to maybe plot out what these stocks are going to do in the future. Now, I will say this isn't guaranteed or anything like this. This is just two stocks. He also did that one on Planet 13 stock, and that was a $250,000 stock or market cap, and it went up 25%. So when there are smaller stocks on there, then they go up more drastically. But you can see here, we're talking about $100 million. That's a pretty big jump. So if you hear him talk about a small market cap stock, this could potentially happen. Now, I said earlier that I was going to cover how to take advantage of this. In the first way, I'm just going to plug Webull here because I've done a review video on Webull before, and I'll put it here. But if you don't know about Webull, they have extended hours. So a lot of the time with a lot of stock market apps, you can only trade throughout the trading day. So from 9:30 till 4, so 9:30 a.m. till 4 Eastern time. But with Webull, you can trade from 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. So that is pretty nice. I mean, you could have gotten in, I think he released the video after this 8 p.m. mark. So you could have gotten in at 4 a.m. on the dot, sold when the market opened, or just right before that, and made a nice 3% gain. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to get into the pump and dump stock game, if you like the stock just in general, because I think he has really good picks, he does a lot of research, he's a really good investor. If you like the stock, this is the other way you can take advantage of it. You can wait for the pump and dump to happen. So as you can see here, if we go back to TPR stock, it went down, and this is kind of what's happened recently with some of the stocks that he's talked about. They go up big that next morning, and then a lot of people dump them off because they're just getting their profits right back out. So it dropped down another 3% from what it was. So it went pretty much back to yesterday, and then it goes back to normal. So you can wait either a few hours, a few days, or a few weeks even to get the stock back to where it was. What you don't want to do is buy right when the market opens, because a lot of the time it's inflated, especially if you do one of those orders where it just buys at the market value. So you set it and forget it, and then it buys at that inflated price, and then you lose 3% right off the get-go. So those are the two main ways that I see you being able to take advantage of this. Either try to get in early if you do want to try to speculate on whether the price is going to go up, or if you really do like the stock, just wait a little bit and then buy it at a lower price later, because you don't want to be part of that pump and dump game. And I don't think Jeremy necessarily pumps and dumps. Some other people were talking about how that's all that he does. I think that would be a little manipulative, and I know that I put stock manipulation into the thumbnail, but I don't think that would be good for his brand. I don't think that's worth it for him, but I think that he does pump it. So even though he doesn't pump and necessarily dump the stock, I think he does a lot of research, so he doesn't want to sell on a 3% gain. I think that it does pump up the stock value, which is what I've been saying the whole time. So let me know what you guys think of this. Is this something that you did? Did you buy Tapestry once you saw that he had talked about it and then sell it off for a profit? Did you get stuck buying it at the high? Is this something that you might look into going forward, trying to kind of buy some of his pump and dump stocks and kind of see what happens with that? Or are you someone that really likes the stock picks, or maybe even someone that's in his private group? I've heard from a couple people that have been in that and really like it. They really think there's a ton of value in there because it is pretty expensive. I think it's $1,000 or so when it's on sale. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please leave a like on this video, and if you do want to trade with Webull and get 2 free stocks just for signing up and depositing $100, you can use the link below. It's really a good stock investing app, like I said before, and you can check out that review video. I like it just for the extended hours, and then especially for how you can look at stocks in the app. It's pretty nice to view them in there. I'm not a huge technical analysis guy. I don't like looking at technical analysis, but they do have candlestick charts and some different ways to view stocks in that app that you can't do in Robinhood or M1. So let me know what you guys think of that. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.